Welcome back to the channel. Once again, if you guys like the content we provide, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the content that we provide. We've just wrapped up the race here from Norwalk, Ohio, powered by our friends at Peak Performance. They're going to be powering us for most of the rest of the season. Great partners to have. Be sure to support them down below by joining the Peak Squad. And without further ado, let's get into the video.
We celebrated a milestone this year for 1,000 profitable race. You didn't get a chance to come to.
The roads were backed up this morning as fans eagerly packed the Summit Racing Equipment Motorsports Park for Sunday's eliminations in Norwalk, Ohio, where once again the blazing heat shined down upon the strip and the high humidity choked all the engines as teams looked to turn on 4 win lights as we closed in on the countdown. Ron Torno looked to capitalize on the momentum he found throughout qualifying, which gave him the best shot to win his first national event in his final season. Matt Hartford aims to sweep the weekend after capturing the win in yesterday's call-out, where he had to defeat both Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson. If he does win, it'll be his first win of the season and first in over a year. Cruz Pedregon scored his first #1 qualifier since the 2023 Las Vegas Spring Race and has had one of the best cars on the property all weekend as he looks to close off an incredible weekend. And Sean Langdon looks to hush all the critics and controversy following last weekend's Virginia Nationals. He aims to try and go back-to-back in Norwalk. And in Pro Stock Motorcycle, the only highlight out of round 1 would be Ron Torno, who had an opportunity to score his first national event win in this final season, would have a fatal red light against Mark Ingerson, taking him out in round #1. For the rest of the pairs, it would dwindle down like how it normally would with the 2 Vance and Hines bikes and the 2 MSR bikes, but the second bike not being Angie Smith, who lost in round #2 to Richard Gadsden. This time, it would be John Hall advancing back to the semifinals against NHRA and would advance to the final round in a major upset as NHRA had an 014 red light and was beating himself on the bike on the top end. He would face off against Richard Gadsden, who got into a bit of a staging duel against Matt Smith in his semifinal matchup as he aimed to win his second national event in the same month. However, it would not happen. John Hall would defeat Richard Gadsden and score his first national event win in 12 years aboard the MSR Buell. In Pro Stock, it would be much of the same thing that we've seen all season long. The cars that you expect to make it out of round #1 all season were the same cars that made it out today. Once again, the 4 cars in semifinals were all KB Titan-powered cars as they ran the field today here in Norwalk, Ohio. In one pair, you'd have Dallas Glenn versus Matt Hartford, and the second pair will be Greg Anderson versus Corey Reed. This is where things got interesting, as Matt Hartford would be seated in the left lane, would square the tires off the starting line, causing him a shot at sweeping the weekend. Greg Anderson, the second pair out, saw that run, decided to stay in the left lane against Corey Reed, had almost the exact same thing happen as what happened to Matt Hartford, with the tire marks left on the track being the exact same pattern that Matt set, almost overlapping each other. This would allow us to have the opportunity for Corey Reed to have a shot at his first national event win against Dallas Glenn. Dallas would be in the exact same lane that Matt and Greg were in. And once again, the exact same thing would happen as Corey Reed would score down the racetrack to capture his first national event win, with Joey Gladstone bursting into tears on the starting line. And in Fuel Funny Car, Cruz Pedregon had the opportunity to shock the world and score his first win since the 2020. And in Fuel Funny Car, Cruz Pedregon had the opportunity to shock the world and score his first national event win in a long time. In round #1, he faced off against Buddy Hull and took care of business to advance to round 2 against his toughest competition in the afternoon in Daniel Wilkerson, who had one of the best cars on the property and one of the best shots to score his first national event win. While staging the beams, Daniel Wilkerson would have a massive red light that would cost him the opportunity at the win and would be emotional on the top end as he felt he let his team down. Cruz Pedregon, who felt like he had too much fuel in the car, spun the tires on the starting line, escaped with a round win to advance to the semis against Matt Hagan. Cruz Pedregon would fall short in that race to Matt Hagan, who advanced to his first final round of the season, where he would face off against none other than the Proc Rocket himself. Austin Proc, qualifying #2, defeated Dale Creasy Jr. round #1, Bob Taskett III of round 2, and Ron Capps in the semis to advance against Matt Hagan. Austin Proc would score his 16th national event win and his second national event win in a row, as the Proc Rocket team once again looks to be finding the pace as he aims for a second world title. And in Top Fuel, upsets would break out in round #1 as Josh Hart, the #9 qualifier, would take out Spencer Massey. Doug Coletta, the #15 qualifier, who bumped his way in the last run, defeated #2 qualifier Antron Brown, and #10 qualifier Clay Milliken defeated #7 Dan Mercier. Clay Milliken would have an incredible day, advancing into round #2 against Doug, defeating him, and advancing into the semis against Tony Stewart. Hart, who blew up another motor during his round 1 matchup against Kyle Wurtzel. Clay Milligan in his semifinal matchup would get the win over Tony, but have the motor explode himself. He would have a last-minute opportunity to try and make his way up to the line to go run the final round against Justin Ashley, who took down Scott Farley, Josh Hart, and Sean Langdon. And when I tell you he came up here last minute, I mean as soon as Funny Car ended, the safety Safari were clearing the lanes and giving Clay Milligan's team an escort. And even when they got up to the starting line, they were still working on the car right before they fired it up. Clay Milligan would lose to Justin Ashley on a whole shot, who scored an 0.27 reaction time, going back-to-back wins as he now heats up, and now what is now a 3-car fight for the $150,000 regular season championship.
Protect your vehicle with Peak Original Equipment Technology. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle.
And to wrap up the video, the story of the weekend has been this high heat, high humidity. This was just brutal this weekend for the fans in the stands, for the cars down on the racetrack, and for the tuners working on them. Sweat is pretty much could have flooded this place. You could pretty much fill up the Mississippi River with the amount of sweat that's been pouring out of the fans here today. Massive shout out to the people who packed these grandstands all weekend long, especially today. The roads were packed just getting into this place. This is one of the best facilities in the country. Shout out to Bill Bader Jr. I know some people said that this is something that he typically does because he's worried about the traffic flow getting into the place. Bill Bader Jr. at 9:30 in the morning was standing in the roundabout directing traffic into the racetrack. You find me another track president, another track owner, and any other form of motorsports that's doing that. I know it's a more bit typical in drag racing, but when you go to races like NASCAR and IndyCar, you never see a track president, you never see a track owner walking the grounds. To see him out there not only directing traffic at 9:30 in the morning, but being as hands-on as he is in a league of his own. Shout out to him, because I say this to a lot of people. You may not think of it because of the fact that we're in the middle of Cornfield, Ohio. But this is one of the best racetracks in the country. This is one of the best facilities in the country, not only for a racer, but for a spectator as well. This is one of the top venues, one of the fan-friendliest places you can go to. And if this is on your bucket list, then I don't know what you're thinking. The winners of this race, shout out to Clay Milligan. Even though his team didn't win, those guys are team of the week besides Tony Stewart's team. To have the engine blown up as it did, they didn't even warm up the car from what I saw. Clay Milligan bolted into the car, or strapped into it, while the final rounds are going on, and didn't get up here until the very last second, even though I don't think that Justin Ashley would have fired that car up until Clay even got here. But they came flying up here, and they were still working on the car. They barely got it ready just to run, and to lose on a whole shot, that's gotta really hurt Clay Milligan. I know he's gonna be beating himself over that. That team is really starting to find the pace. That team is really starting to find the consistency that it's been looking for, and it's something that they've been needing. It has been absolutely incredible. Tony Stewart, still one of the top guys. I cannot imagine how much money he's lost blowing 3 motors in one weekend. Even if he won the race, I don't even know how much that would have offset the repairs that he's gonna have to do to that car. Austin Prague, what else can you say about the guy? Back-to-back wins. There's a reason he's a world champion. There's a reason number one's on that car. There's a reason he is the front runner for this championship and is leading the points as it is. Corey Reed, a massive feel-good story. Who would have thought that the first person to not beat Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson that would win national event would be the caveman himself, his first ever national event win. Congratulations to him and his entire team. And John Hall, I'm going to say this right now, I don't know how anybody could have picked him to win this race with how many good bikes there were on the property, but shout out to him. First win in 12 years, that's got to feel really good. That's pretty much going to wrap up the video here. There is one more thing I want to say. Josh Hart made a post on social media. Apparently, I don't know if it was Jason, I'm not giving some names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. It was either the PA announcer or the Fox TV person said that Josh Hart, I think deep stage in either round 1 or round 2 competition, did not take it too kindly. Made a post where he blasted the PA announcers or the TV announcers, saying that it was, oh hell, I might as well just grab the post here 1 second. Give me one moment, I'll read it for you word verbatim, because it was the talk of the media center throughout the semifinals. Hold on 1 second, let me pull this up. Hopefully they start playing music. I'm gonna keep yapping so that way they don't do it. Here it is. This is from Josh Hart directly. My opinion is also that uneducated announcers with a reckless mouth struggling for gossip type content should not, that's in all capitals, not have national broadcast privileges. I have never played games games on the starting line, and last time I checked, I have not, in capital letters, not, N-O-T, ever deep staged, in parentheses, turned the top bulb off, in parentheses, in my career, hung anyone out, behind the rule book, allowed time, or even intentionally flickered the bulb for an inappropriate amount of time. So, Josh Hart's not happy. He had a really good weekend. Arnold cares this week. He turned on some win lights today. He looked really good, especially a year ago where he DNQ'd at this place. That's a shout out to him. He's really starting to find a consistency in that car. I'm excited to see what they can do. I would not be surprised if he's able to steal a national event win before the season's over. But that's going to wrap up the video here this weekend. Shout out to anybody who won Drag Race Backup Bonanza. I came close. I was doing really good in the overall event category, but the semifinals killed it. I dropped from like 19th to below 100. It was bad. Thank you to our friends at Peak Performance who have powered us all weekend long. This is going to be one more thing I want to say for people who do watch to the end. I do see how long some of you watch these videos, and I appreciate that. Peak has given me some John Force Racing Peak hats. So we're going to be live in Indianapolis. They told me specifically give away one of these hats. When we're in Indianapolis or Brainerd, I might try and sneak over to Brainerd if I have an opportunity to. When we're in Indy, if you notice me, say something, and if I have it on me, you'll get a hat. I usually have stickers or koozies on me. We now have hats. So thank you to Peak Performance. Been great to the sport, been great to me personally. It's been an honor to work with them and get to represent them. And we're going to be live in the U.S. Nationals in about a month time, or 2 months time. I can't believe we're almost 2 months away from the end of the U.S. Nationals. They said also, we're like 4 races from the countdown, and that doesn't even feel real. That's incredible. Thank you to all you guys for watching. Thank you for commenting and giving me your support all week long. Thank you to anybody who stopped me in the lanes, as well as the drivers as well. That was really surprising. We're going to be live in Indianapolis in about 2 months' time. Hopefully, Brainerd, if I can sneak out there. So, if you see me, say hi. I know people have said that they want to see me at tracks like Seattle and Las Vegas. I can't afford to go out there unless someone pays me a lot of money to do it, because I can't do it on my own. So, thank you to the people who do watch. If we're able to get the money, I'll try and sneak out to Brainerd, but if not, we'll see you live in Indianapolis, but we will be covering the races live from home. Be sure to subscribe to the channel down below, comment what you thought of today's action and the winners as well. Be sure to follow me on all social media pages down below, and My Name Echo 3 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Be sure to sign up for the Peak Squad down below, and until next time, this is Mighty Mac. We'll see you in the next video.